here for EA. So we talked about option money and earnest money. This is critical. Get it done right away on all the ways. Schedule inspections right away. There are times we will pencil in an inspection prior to getting a contract executed. If we know that it's coming through, we'll try to get it done right away, because doggone it, I don't like running out of time. So that's something that we like to do for our buyers. And what's been great is that we have a lot of relationships with our home inspectors to make that happen. Okay, here's a sample home inspection. Okay, they kind of blacked out some personal information. You'll notice it's 118 pages, right? So not all of them are 118 pages. There's a lot of it. And what you'll find out is the bulk of it at the very beginning is all disclosures. Things like they cannot tell you what's happening behind the walls. It's unreasonable, right? So all the things, all the codes, all that kind of stuff. They're going to cover structural systems, bunch of disclosures, bunch of information. So structure is going to be a lot of times foundation, right? And so you're going to have I is for inspected, NI is for not inspected, NP is not present, and D is for deficiency. And if it says D, you're going to look at your general inspector as a general doctor. What happens when you go to a general doctor and your heartbeat's not going like your heart's not going like it's supposed to? They're going to send you to a specialist, a heart specialist. Same thing with this foundation. They're like, this foundation doesn't look like. We recommend that you have a foundation specialist or an engineer come and take a look, right? And they're going to do this all the way down for HVAC, roof, like, look at this, perch, drainage, plane. So during this time, okay, when you are getting your inspection done, please know that this is your time as a buyer to ask all the questions. There is the only stupid question, you've heard this before, the only stupid question is the one that was not asked, right? Ask them, like, what is a drainage ditch? What does that even mean? How do I, like HVAC, if it goes kaplooey, what do I do? Like somebody talks about air filters. How do I change out an air filter? What they're going to do is they're going to like block out 4 hours, and the buyer only shows up for the last hour. And they're going to walk through the entire house, inside, outside, emergency cutoff. They'll tell you things like, this is the emergency cutoff for the whole house, water. And you're like, great. How do I use it though? If I need an emergency cutoff for a whole house water, how do I turn it off? Right? There's nothing wrong with asking that question. Please ask that question, because the last thing you need to know is that your house is flooding. You got to turn off the water for the whole house. I'm looking at it. How do I actually use it? That's what this inspection period is for. It's for you to get acquainted with your house and know the house, the goods and the not so goods. And there's nothing wrong with like them saying, oh, well, this part of the house isn't perfect. It's a pre-owned house unless you're buying new construction. If you're buying new construction, you're going to send your entire inspection report and you're going to give it to the builder, to the general contractor, and he's going to take that inspection. He's going to use it as his to-do list to fix all those things. But if it's pre-owned, just knowing, right, about your house and what you're getting into, your house isn't going to be perfect. It's pre-owned, and we're going to take it for what it is. But when we're looking, what we're looking for is we're looking for deal breakers. We're looking for HVAC, structurals, things like that. Here's some home inspectors that our clients have used in the past that have gotten good reviews. If you want more, you can, of course, go to Google and find some more. But these are the ones that we've actually used recently that have gotten great feedback. Mike Griffin is the person that did our personal homes and our personal properties. So we use him a lot. So just know that when we're negotiating repairs during your option period ends at 5 o'clock on Thursday. Please do not let us know at 5 o'clock or at 4 o'clock that you have repair requests or that you want to terminate the contract. It's too late. Like, because not only we have to do an amendment to the contract, we have to do a termination of contract. There's paperwork that has to get signed. We have to submit it to you. You have to sign off it and get it to the seller. We recommend at the very minimum the day before. Okay. And for whatever reason, Do not let us know that you want to terminate after 3 o'clock of termination date. There's just too much that has to get done on our part to be able to get that over and done with. So if you want to negotiate inspections, I recommend getting your inspections early and getting that ball rolling as soon as possible. Okay. Anyways, your lender will appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. It's good to get out of the gray zone. Either we're in or out. Let's get all that figured out as soon as possible. Okay? Sound good? But just know that what we're looking for is we're looking for deal breakers. Mechanical, AC, water heaters, foundation, roof. And then, so I like to break it up. So that's going to be like number one. Number two are our wish list. It doesn't have to be, but I really would like for them to fix the windows. So you can ask for the sellers to fix it, or you can ask for money in lieu of, or you can do a combination of both. And that's what we're negotiating. As a buyer rep and as a seller's rep, I typically prefer giving money in lieu of repairs. And here's why. Buyers, let's say it's painting. Like buyers want things done at this level. Sellers kind of they're moving out. Some sellers take a lot of pride in their home and they're always going to put in the best work that they can invest into the house, even for the buyer. I have sellers like that. We have some investors, they're just trying to cheap out. They're trying to get the cheapest way out. And buyers don't want the cheapest way out. They're investing in this house for a long term. So that's why I like to do money in lieu of repair. That way buyers can choose their own vendors, make it however they want. And, they can upgrade the water heater. They can make whatever upgrades they want in the process. After you're out of your option period, then we go into pending, a period of time when the title company and the lender are really, 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 really need to hit the ground running. That's when they're going to order appraisals and surveys and all that kind of stuff and make sure that gets done. And the reason we typically like to wait till after option period is because we're not typically wanting our buyers to spend more money unless they know for sure they're buying the house. You're also going to shop for your insurance and get your quote from your insurance company there. All right, so closing day. I like to do a final walkthrough prior to closing. If you choose to not do a final walkthrough, there's a little disclosure that says, hey, we recommend you do a final walkthrough. And the purpose of the final walkthrough is if there's a lease back, we want to make sure that the seller looks like he's moving out. If there's not a lease back, we also want to make sure that the condition of the property is the same as when we submitted the offer. We also want to ensure that all the repairs have been done. If they're doing roof, HVAC, or anything like that, if you want to have your inspectors come in during that final walkthrough right before closing, you can do that too. But sellers will submit an invoice saying that it's been done. So I like to do that either if you're having afternoon closing, do that morning of, or at the very earliest the day before closing. Okay. Closings typically will take 30 to 45 minutes. If you have a ton of questions, it can take up to an hour. Just know that utilities, we talked about this, need to be scheduled for the possession. We have a utility concierge that will reach out to our buyers that'll help them with that process. So it's not like starting from scratch. Also on the seller's disclosure, it'll let the buyers know what utility companies there are as well. Make sure the buyers either wire the money ahead of time or bring a cashier's check. The title company will let you know, believe it or not, often day of closing. So be prepared, or the day before. Wiring. There are a lot of wiring scams. Please do not wire money based solely on emailed instructions. Make sure I recommend that you pick up the phone, have a conversation with the title company, and confirm the wiring instructions prior to sending. I don't know how the scammers are figuring out, but the scammers are figuring it out, and we just got to be smarter than them. And I do believe that a conversation really helps minimize the chances of wire fraud. There's a wire fraud notice that you'll get to sign off on, but I like to let you know ahead of time as well to look out for the wire fraud and to not get frauded, because once that wire goes out, we can't get that money back. We talked about possession upon funding. That's when you actually own the property. After you close and fund the legal documents, the title company will actually send it to the county clerk and you'll get a copy mailed to you. If you want an electronic copy, just let the title company, they can get that to you as well. And all that stuff gets handled afterwards. Also, in your closing documents, the lender is going to have instructions on where to send your payments. Now, keep in mind, talk to your lender. A lot of lenders are starting the loan, but then they sell that loan to a third party. The lender will probably let you know to look in your mail for instructions on where to send future payments to and when to expect that. So expect that there. All right. So just know that no matter where you find your home, okay, it can be a real estate magazine. We don't have that as much, but we have like Zillow, realtor.com, realty.com. For sale signs that might be somebody else's listing, or maybe at an open house, or from a friend, or for sale by owner. Anywhere you find a house, we as the agent can help you with that. Okay. And new home builders, we love working with new construction. In fact, we have a list of a gazillion incentives that we've been working on. Right now, you'll know if it's at the end of the year, there's so many incentives at the end of the year because all these builders are trying to get these houses off their books. Okay. Also, if there's a closeout in a community, they're trying to close those out super fast, and they're going to give some great incentives, great deals. So there's so many great new construction incentives going on right now, new home builder incentives. So for new buyers, let's take advantage of that. And I love those. Just know we can sell any of those. We love working with new construction. In new construction, what we will do as a buyer is we will actually accompany you. So let's say we have an idea of what you're looking for. We will help you find different communities. We have access to those, and we'll call and set appointments for you just like we will with pre-construction homes, so that you can go visit and tour those homes and get the incentives. It doesn't mean you have to purchase at homes, but at least you'll get a good tour and not just like walk in and kind of get a feel of it. And we'll arrange that with everybody for you. We'll negotiate for you. We'll help walk you through that whole new home buying process. So please don't go to new construction on your own. You don't have to. We are delighted to do that with our buyers. Here's some other resources. I know schools are really fun. School Digger, niche.com is fun. There's Walk Score, Quick Facts, our website, and our Facebook page. Source that we love using that I think gets overlooked is Google Street View. You can actually like walk a neighborhood if you want that way, and also satellite view. If it's important to you, things that we like to look at for satellite views is a house backing up to a major street that's like one of those 6-lane streets, or is it one of those huge power lines? These are things that will impact resale in the future. Statistically, back in the day during the foreclosure crisis, we found banks were having a hard time getting rid of and selling properties that backed up to major streets or those really huge power lines. So something to consider if you're purchasing. I think now a lot of buyers are buying for lifestyle. So we live in the suburbs, so which draws a lot of families. So we got to consider what buyers are looking for that and kind of have a feel what each district looks like. Frisco and Prosper are going to be different than Allen. Allen's different from all of them because it's one high school for the entire town. There's pros and cons for that. Of course, I think there's a lot of pros, and then you've got the smaller high schools, and then you've got the ratings. So, and there's a lot of aspects in there. Location to work, okay? Sometimes that commute is a big deal. Some people work from home, some people don't. If they work from home, do they need an office? Where do they go for entertainment? What are their plans for their kids' future sports? Because for some people that work from home, their kids' activities is their number one priority, right? This is before we even go into all the other things like bedrooms, bathroom, mother-in-law suite. Your typical MLS search criteria, this is what it's going to look. And then start them on an automated search, whether it's daily, immediately, if they're looking to purchase right away, weekly, if they're looking to purchase down the road, monthly, if it's like way down the road. But these are kind of some of the criterias. And then I like to check in periodically to just see if there's any updates that we can make on that search. Okay. So, and this is pretty much it. And I hope y'all found that helpful. Okay.